Welcome to Everyday Linux User. In today's video, we are looking at Lubuntu 26.04, which is the latest long-term support release of the lightweight Ubuntu-based Linux distro that uses the LXQt desktop environment. So this is a very lightweight system. So if you've got an older computer and you want to run Ubuntu, then Lubuntu will do that for you. It's very KDE-esque. It's got the menus and everything very similar to KDE. And even this menu here, you can see this is very responsive on my machine. Now if you install the full version of Lubuntu, you still get snaps over normal Debian packages, so that's consistency across all of the Ubuntu distributions now, is that if you install the full version you're going to get snaps. Now if you don't like snaps, then this probably isn't for you. For most people, they don't care what the package format is as long as the system works at the end of the day. So I'm going to take you through the installer now. It's very simple. You've got the Lubuntu installer comes up and you choose your language, and then you choose where you are in the world and your keyboard layout. And then you can choose between full, normal or minimal install. If you go full, it gets all these other packages at the bottom, and you can choose whether to download and install updates if you so wish. And then you choose where you want to install Ubuntu. Now I'm installing it alongside other Ubuntu based distros, so you're going to see me do manual partitioning here. Now you won't have to do this. You either want to install alongside something if you're installing alongside Windows, or if you're replacing, you just do erase and install as the only operating system. But you'll see here that I'm going to use up some free space that's on the disk. And you see I just created 25 gigabyte drive and I set the mount point to root, and then because my EFI partitions on SDA1, I'm going to edit that partition there, and I am going to set the mount point there to boot EFI. Click OK. Like I say, you won't have to do this. This is just if you're booting and you're putting it in an empty space on your machine. And you can see I'm just setting up the rest of the thing now by setting up a user and entering my password and repeating it. And click next. And install. Install now. And Lubuntu will be installed to your computer. So once you boot into Lubuntu, this is your setup, and the first thing you want to do is make sure your hardware is working properly. So what we're going to do is going to go down here and we're going to see the Wi-Fi networks, and you can see they are available. So if you're on Ethernet, it should work automatically, but if you want Wi-Fi, you pick your Wi-Fi and enter your password. The next thing we're going to do is Bluetooth.
Bluetooth mode.
So we're going to click on this icon here, and we're going to click search. Obviously if this is toggled off, you want to toggle it on. And you can see it's found my speaker.
Connecting.
And you can see it's connected in the top right corner there. But I'm just going to turn that off.
Disconnected.
And the last check I normally do for hardware is printers. Now the reason I do these checks, Wi-Fi, most people need Wi-Fi, especially if you're on the move. Bluetooth, lots of people have Bluetooth speakers, Bluetooth keyboards, Bluetooth mice, Bluetooth headsets. So that's why I do Bluetooth. And printing is obvious because people have printers and occasionally you need to print something. And because this is based on Ubuntu, it's found my printer straight away and there's no setup involved. And that is the beauty of using any of the Ubuntu distros, is that your hardware usually works very well. So let's look at the applications that are installed with Lubuntu. So if we go here and we go into accessories, now some of the stuff I've installed myself, I'll let you know what they are to find them. But under accessories, you've got a notepad tool called Featherpad, got the PC Man FM file manager, which is a good file manager. You've got zip file tool, a calculator, and Vim, and a few other things. Under education and science, you've got something called Calculate, which is a calculator, I assume. And then you've got LibreOffice Draw, LX Image, Qt, which is an image viewer, a screen grab tool, and Scanlight. And then under internet, we have Firefox, which is your web browser, and Transmission, which is a BitTorrent client. Under Office, the full LibreOffice suite is installed, as is a PDF viewer. And then under Sound Vision, I've installed Kdenlive and I've installed OBS Studio. What I can't remember is whether VLC was installed by default. I think it probably was. But if not, I'll show you how you install these things a little bit later on. And then under system tools, you've got the standard system tools that you would get, and you've got the ability to shut down your computer and things like that. So you can see the menu system is all pretty good. And the next step is, how do you actually install software on your computer? Well, I can tell you there is a tool called Discover. Does that sit under the system tools? Yeah, there it does, under the system tools. So you can either search for up there or here, and you just click Discover. Now Discover is often comes with KDE, but it works really well on Lubuntu as well. And you should be able to find every application you need to search for. It doesn't like it if you maximize. Look, it's not very good maximization there. Right. Oh, maybe it was doing something in the background. Okay, so if you want to install an application, for instance, if you want Spotify, you can do that here. It's a snap package. In fact, if I click in, you can go for the lightweight version, or you can go for Spotify itself. It has only got an install from snap option. So you type in your password. Now you may be thinking, if there's running snaps, does that mean it's not lightweight anymore? Well, the snap doesn't actually make your system any more bloated, really. It's just packaging all the libraries together as well as their main application. So in theory, it shouldn't be any heavier than running a native Debian package. So you can search for any package you want. So if you want Steam, you can search for Steam. There it is. What else could you search for? You could search for Rhythmbox, which is an audio player. Most things are in the software store. You can also browse by category. So if we close that out, you can just go into graphics if you want. I actually find this better than the GNOME software manager in terms of being able to find things that you want. So I'm going to close that down. One thing you won't find in there is Chrome. So what you have to do for Chrome is you have to go onto the internet and go to Firefox. And people often ask me, why are you showing people how to install Chrome? Well, it's one of the most popular browsers out there. And if you're new to Linux, then you're probably going to want the browser that you're used to. We just go to the Google website and we click on Download Chrome and click on the Accept and Install. And then you can close that down. If we go to File Manager and we click in the Downloads folder, you'll see that there. Open with, and then you just click Discover, and then you click this button up here, the Install From, and you just click. That's installing. Enter your password, and that's available now as well. So if I go down here into Internet, you can see Chrome is available. We can close this down. We can close this down, and we can make that the default browser if you want to. I'm not going to sign in at this moment in time. And if you're enjoying this video, this is a good time to ask you to subscribe, join the channel as a member, and if you like the video, click the thumbs up. But for now, that's that. What we're looking at next is we're going to look at LibreOffice, because if we go into LibreOffice Writer and we go next there, close it, you'll see that we've only got a standard set of fonts. So you've only got Linux based fonts. So what we want to do is install the Microsoft fonts, and we should be able to do that in Discover. I'm going to check, and we're going to go for MSTT. Can we find the Microsoft fonts in here? Maybe it's a TTF. I always forget what this is actually called. I can't find it. I've tried a few things there. We're going to do it from the terminal. Yes. This is already a letdown for me having to use the terminal, because I don't think new users should have to do that at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to sudo apt install TTF MS Core Fonts installer. And we're going to click Y. That's going to install all the fonts that you need. All we have to do is press Tab to select the OK button, and then Tab again to select Yes. So that's that. So if we go into LibreOffice now, I don't want to show the tips at startup. Go up here, scroll to the top. You can see you've got Arial and things like that. And if you want to make it defaults, go up to there, go down to writer, and we want to go to basic fonts Western, and you can change these to whatever you want them to be. So Arial's always a good one, and you see it's done all of them. Headings it hasn't done though, but you can just do the same thing again, and that's it. Now Arial will always be your default font. Now one thing occurred to me whilst I was installing that from the terminal, and that is maybe the Microsoft Fonts comes as part of the restricted extras package. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Discover again, and we're going to search for restricted. I wonder if there's a Lubuntu restricted extras. Ubuntu restricted. They don't seem to show up, do they? So the restricted extras packages gives you extra codecs and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the terminal. We're just going to search. And you can see there's a Ubuntu one, so add-ons, you've got the restricted extras, and then you've got Lubuntu ones and Ubuntu ones. So because we've got a Lubuntu one, we're going to do the Lubuntu one. So sudo apt install I'm going to go for the restricted extras package. Click yes. Now, if you're a new user to Linux, then you won't know these things are there, and I think that's a mistake. I think they should be front and center as soon as you open Discover. I think people are going to want the Microsoft fonts. People are going to want to be able to play proprietary audio and video and stuff like that in multiple formats. So why not make them the defaults? But you can see that's worked, and now I can play any audio format. Now, if you've got VLC installed, then playing video formats is usually pretty good because VLC is bundled up very nicely indeed. Now, one thing you might have seen is when I went into Discover and I was messing around earlier, if I go into settings, you can see snaps there. It says make default, it already is the default, I believe. But you can see there's missing backend for Flatpak. So we can, if you want to, install Flatpaks as part of Ubuntu as well. Now, I don't know if that works instantly. I think you probably have to reboot. So I've rebooted. Shall we go into Discover? Now, I've noticed this stutters a little bit. It's when it's doing the updates fetching part that makes it stutter and take a little bit of time. You see I've got 96 to install, which I should really install. But if we now search, can we find any Flatpaks? So the missing piece of the jigsaw, whilst I enabled Flatpaks, I didn't enable FlatHub. So what you have to do is go back into settings and click Add FlatHub. So here we go. I've rebooted again. And you can see Flatpaks are now available. So the reason for showing Chrome is the obvious Flatpak to search for, but you can see that there's Flatpaks for everything. So now with Lubuntu, you can install a choice of Flatpaks or snaps, a bit like you can with Zorin, but with a lightweight desktop. So that's that. The next thing we'll do is a little bit of customization. I've got a full execute customization guide, which I'll link at the end of this video. But what you want to do first is probably change your wallpaper. So right click, desktop preferences. And if we go to background, you can browse for your wallpaper. Hasn't really got much of a choice. But you can go up to user share backgrounds as well. Is there anything in there? Nothing in there. So the choice of backgrounds is kind of limited. So you know what that means? We have to go and make one of our own. So I've just created an image. So I've stored it locally. So what I have to do is go to Gallery, Pictures, Wallpapers, and then choose the one I want. And it's very on point with what's happening in the world at the moment. And hopefully in a few weeks' time, from an England perspective, we'll have the World Cup in our hands. So the rest of it, so if you want to, you can add icons to the desktop, and you'll see here these have got little exclamation marks. And what you can do is do trust this executable, and that takes away the exclamation marks. If you don't do that, then when you click on it, it asks you whether you want to run it. So that's how you do that. This panel down here can be customized as well, so we can configure the panel. So the menu is called a fancy application menu. Then you've got a desktop switcher, which is this thing here, I believe. Oh no, the desktop switcher is this thing. Then we've got a quick launch, which is the file manager. And then we've got the show desktop, which is this here. Then we've got the task manager, which is this bar of things that are running. And then in the bottom right corner, we got the ability to mount media, volume control, and then you got the system tray. But you can add in other ones. So we could add in another quick launch like this, and we can move that up to where we want it to be. Like that. You can see it says drop application icons here. So what we can do is go here and should be able to drag that in like that. And we should be able to do that with other ones. Just drag them in. Yep. You probably didn't even need to add that widget in, really. And then we can add things like VLC, Kdenlive, OBS, stuff like that. And you can configure the panel even more. You can change the size of it because you can see it's quite small. So we can make the panel 42 and then the icon size 32 like that. Makes it a little bit more readable. Maybe it's a bit too big now. So something like that. You can make it auto hide. You can change the position. At the moment it's at the bottom, but you can put it at the top if you want to. I've never really like it at the top. I always like it down there. Styling. You can change the background image of the panel if you want to. And you've seen already about the widgets. Search for appearance. You can see we've got themes that you can use. So at the moment we've got Lubuntu Arc, but you've got all these other ones down here. So if you want Win 11 Dark, you can see it now looks more like this. You can have Arch, Dark, Graphite, but we'll put it back to that for now. You can add in your own themes. That's part of my other guide, and you can change icons and things like that as well. But for now, let's sum up what I think of Lubuntu 26.04. It's a decent operating system for people with older computers. Actually, if you're just one of these people that like the system to stay out your way and you like it to run as light as possible, then Lubuntu is definitely for you as well. But generally it's for people with older machines to get the most oomph out of the specs that they do have. The desktop is very light indeed. But that is the end of the video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time on Everyday Linux User.